Test, test. Okay, there's the camera. I'm cranky. This cold is lingering, but it isn't. Let's see. I have been spending time with Chat GPT. I'm trying to cheat and use it to write a paper. What have I stumbled into? Here's the first one. Describe how a stable plasma toroid surrounded by a ceramic containment vessel that is doped with radioactive isotopes that emit positrons and parametric amplification can be used to spin pump the electric field to the second and third generations of the electron. The spin pump device uses laser wake field acceleration to insert heavy ions which collide with the confined plasma. The motor pumps the plasma to the muon level, stabilizes it, and spin pumps it to the tauon level. Trying to remember something that Jared said. Chat GPT comes right back at me. The scenario described involves several complex and advanced concepts from theoretical and experimental physics, many of which are speculative and extend beyond current scientific understanding. However, I can provide an explanation based on the elements you've mentioned, keeping in mind that this is a theoretical exploration rather than a description of established science. What should I be doing? Oh, can I share screen? What about this? Blah, blah, blah. Back to myself. Anyway. A stable plasma toroid and ceramic containment vessel. The plasma is contained in a toroidal donut shaped. Should it be, I think a stellarator is a little bit better. Plasma wants to do funny things, kinks and such. So stellarators have a better topology. But anyway, that being said, toroidal shape, similar to the design used in magnetic confinement fusion reactors like tokamaks. The ceramic vessel, possibly resistant to extreme temperatures and radiation, contains the plasma. This is like kind of like 6th grade, junior high reading around Los Alamos. Doping with radioactive isotopes emitting positrons. Introducing radioactive isotopes that emit positrons, the antimatter counterpart of electrons could, in theory, lead to positron-electron annihilation events within the plasma, releasing energy. This could contribute to the plasma's energy balance, although managing this process in a controlled manner would be highly complex and is currently beyond our... So I'm thinking these you would have areas within there that are specifically tuned so when you open like shutters to the ceramics that are emitting positrons, it's called beta positive decay, but they're going into areas where you have you get little sparkles, little flashes in it. I'm sure of that. Anyway, counter-rotating matter streams somehow. I don't think I quite have the concept. Not yet. Not ready, sir. The AI is reluctant to talk about this. This could contribute to the plasma energy balance and is currently beyond our technological capabilities. See what I mean, folks? Parametric amplification is a process where a signal is amplified by using an external parameter that oscillates in time. Michael and the lab had a discussion about this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Oscillations in time diffraction in time, parametric amplification and using time diffraction. What does that really mean? A time-based grading? The idea is to use this to spin pump the plasma. The idea of using this to spin pump the plasma involves manipulating the plasma electromagnetic field to transfer energy specifically into the spin states of electrons. This is a speculative concept as current physics does not provide a mechanism to see. Yes, it does. This is so dynamic nuclear orientation has been edited out of this large language model. Boo how. Laser wake field acceleration is a technique used to accelerate charged particles such as electrons by utilizing the electric field of a laser pulse traveling through a plasma. In this scenario, this technique is used to insert heavy ions into the plasma, potentially contributing to the generation of higher mass electron states. The collision of heavy ions with the plasma could, in theory, provide additional energy. Or maybe you can make the plasma do like a little spike and you have like a tungsten rod. So we're going to get a spike and then some muons coming out that way. And then briefly, at some right moment, you have that discharge pumped into these cavities where the laser wake field acceleration picks it up, and you get a relativistic motion of a muon. Just for a moment, though, it's a tauon, and then it dumps all of the heat field particles. This is similar to the process occurring in particle accelerators. Motor pumping plasma to muon and tauon levels. The motor in this context seems to refer to a mechanism that energizes the plasma to sufficiently high levels to produce muons and then tauons. Producing these particles in a plasma environment is currently not feasible. See, what was it? See item 4. Okay, so it's contradicting itself. It doesn't know. Stabilizing a plasma at the energy level requires to boost blah blah blah, and it's challenging. Nonetheless, let's go past the neutron beam thing. It made that fucking stupid thing. The next thing to talk about. Good, I never will be seen. In space-time metric era, in my question to my buddy Chat GPT, space-time metric engineering, how does an invariant gauge affect the functioning of a fractal antenna array that is warping space-time? So, in David Perez's electrical engineering theory, it is possible to warp space-time by creating a double interwoven. It's called a tripole field, and it's basically two dipoles, and then they're kind of stacked onto each other. And you get this interference pattern, and within that interference is a crinkle, a warpage of space-time. Quantum mechanics, they have to argue that the gauge is invariant, that space-time does not warp or change shape, because then if you're trying to measure these little things and you're stretching out the space-time, then they're going to stretch with it. So something. But so I threw out a contradictory thing from my perspective, or I'm just really fucking stupid and don't know. Can't find people to quite talk like this. So, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, I mean spaceport. Don't ask why. As of my last update in 2023, space-time metric engineering and the specific application of an invariant gauge in the context of a fractal antenna array warping space-time are not concepts that are part of established physics. So David Perez's website has not been incorporated into this large language model. These terms seem to combine elements of theoretical physics, but in a way that is not recognized in mainstream scientific understanding. However, insight into the individual components mentioned in the relevance. So space-time metric engineering and general relativity. Space-time metric describes the geometric properties of space-time, including how distances and angles are measured. Metric is determined by the distribution of mass energy in space-time. The concept of engineering space-time metric would imply manipulating the curvature of space-time, something that in practice requires astronomical amounts of energy. Womp, womp, womp. Down, you shall not be useful. In physics, a gauge is a specific mathematical framework of choice of perspective that does not affect observable physics. Gauge invariance is a key feature in quantum field theories, including the standard model of particle physics, and ensures that physical predictions are independent of these arbitrary choices. How big is the ruler? What are you measuring with, right? Building on the round, you got to get yourself one of these little nifty jobbers. These doohickeys are useful for measuring ground and finding center. The gauge is invariant. If you're going to bend space-time, your ruler is going to bend with it. So yeah, let's study how to bend light fields and magnetic fields with high voltage or something. Fractal antenna array. Warping spacetime. In theory, warping spacetime involves altering the curvature of spacetime, a concept popularized by ideas like wormholes or the hypothetical Alcubierre warp drive. Concept. This is where Sarfatti screams, "You don't know the physics." The idea of using a fractal antenna array with an invariant gauge to warp spacetime is an imaginative one, but does not correspond to any known physical theory or technology. It mixes concepts from different areas of physics like general relativity, quantum field theory, and electromagnetic antenna design in ways that are not recognized or supported by current scientific understanding. And yet, I can call up an aerospace buddy and say, hey, let's talk about these multi-metal laminates and how they are a three-dimensional fractal array that once you understand nuclear weights, you'll see that your ground is the bismuth layer, but the pattern is within the magnesium and the zinc. So that thing, the hull, when charged, creates this real funny, squishy area where the fields interfere with each other strongly, real close to the hull, and it starts acting like a heat pump. So our AI is not quite there yet. It's the one other thing, the trick, if you have the field spinning correctly or your materials structured, it keep it cooling. This is where I'm also mixing in the Bose-Einstein condensates. And from there, I think I will take a nap or something. Yeah, it won't draw well enough, so boohoo, Chat GPT and Dolly.